We live?
Yes, sir.
Okay. See if I can get it to pull up here. Hey, that's me.
We are live. How's
Kill.
it going, Michigan Fishing and Whack and Stack? How's it going, guys?
Whack and Stack. I like that name.
Okay, Matt Rhodes is going to be joining us here in a second. I'm going to leave the links to both Matt and Alex down in the description below, so go check out their channels as well. We'll give people a second to. Hey, what's going on? Hey, Matt, I think I just sent you that link. The email you told me to send it to.
Okay. I've got all the little screens and everything that everybody can't see. Everything's smaller and moved over, and all of my OCD is satisfied now. I say that, and I just messed it up.
Where's Geiger Road? Is that in Michigan?
Hashtag Beast Coast. That's right. Perch. We got perch. I didn't know my lakes had perch. There's one of my lakes. I caught a perch on Dad caught a perch on a jerkbait last year, and I freaked out because I never knew that there was perch in the lake, and I'd never even seen one.
What lake is that at?
Loudon, Fort Loudon. It's Tennessee River system. It's the headwaters for the Tennessee River system. Hey, Matt.
Hey, Matt.
What's up?
Nothing much, buddy. How you doing?
Nothing. It was a great day to go fishing today, and I didn't go.
Well, why not?
Work and then come to do this chat.
Oh, well, we'll blame work more than this chat. How about that?
Matt, you're in Florida, aren't you?
Yeah, and you might as well say I'm in southern Alabama. Okay. Because Tampa, Florida weather and stuff is completely different than here for fishing. So. But yeah, I'm in Florida.
Florida.
There's some good ponds down by you.
Yeah, I have great golf courses. The resort I work on has 4 golf courses, and then 3 other ones in town. It's hold huge bass.
I'm jealous. More so the weather too.
It was nice and cold and breezy today, and overcast, and it's like the first day it felt like that.
It was.
Ben, Jeff wants to know if the boat's fixed. I'll go ahead and answer that question and say no, not yet.
Yeah, not yet, unfortunately. Sorry, I totally missed your comment. Nope. But I'm taking it in on Saturday of this upcoming week, and hopefully they'll get it fixed for me. Matt and I were talking, and we're hoping, Alex and I were talking, and we're hoping that they can just fix it, and it won't be too big of a deal.
I really don't think it will be.
No.
Not with the warranty and all that.
Typically pretty good too. Yeah. What reels do I like? I feel I'm not affiliated with the company. I feel a lot of Lew's reels though. I love Lew's. I really believe in the product. I have all Lew's. I know, Matt, you put basking, don't you?
I do. I've thrown some Lew's and Abu Garcia and stuff. But I found something that's really close to them and doesn't cost as much.
Yeah. And Alex, you have everything, right?
Yeah, I got a little bit of everything. It's pretty much anything that if it's on sale or I can get a deal on it, I'll throw it. I really do like Lew's though. I got a few years back. The academy near me ran all the Lew's speed spools for like $49, and we went in and bought like 5 or 6. So I've got a bunch of Lew's, and then I've got some Daiwas and stuff like that. But I'm a thrifty shopper. I like to find stuff cheaper than it normally is.
Yeah, I'm a thrift shopper too. I will buy stuff, and if it's on sale, I'm probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Joseph. I appreciate your comment, man. I enjoy making these videos for you guys. So seeing you guys commenting and interacting with my content is pretty awesome.
This is a good setup of guys. You got Alex in the middle, you up north, and me down south.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got pretty much guys from all over the country right now, so that's pretty cool. All we need is the West Coast team.
I subscribed to a guy's channel today. I'd never seen him before. Is the Swimbait Master or something like that?
The Chronicles, Swimbait Chronicles.
No, I know that guy. He's a different guy. He had tattoos all over him. He wears gauges, and he was fishing some lake, dude. And I'm not kidding you. It was turquoise blue. It was amazing looking. He was fishing out of one of those Plano boats, you know, and he was hammering them with I think it was a Roman made. And I watched like almost all his videos. The dude has a really good channel.
If you find his channel, let me know who he is.
Yeah, I'll send you the link for it. I just found it. It was popped up in my suggestions. I'd never seen him before, but he's got, I think, like 7,000 subscribers. I mean, it's a really awesome channel.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
There are two different styles of crankbaits that I throw. I throw, the 6 cents, 250 and 300 DDs, which is like a medium and deep diving crankbait. But then I also throw, I have it tied on. Hold on 1 second. It's a little bit.
Those giant ones he was throwing the other day.
This is what I've been doing
Video.
the last week and a half to get some of these smallmouth. I'll take, I think this is an old Norman crankbait, or I don't know what it is, old Norman crankbait, and I'll throw it on a spinning rod with like super light. This is 8-pound braid, and I can get this thing down to like 12, 13 foot of water. And this little bit smaller, lighter crankbait, I've been cleaning up behind, guys. So it's kind of a little bit different way to throw it. Crankbait for points. What about you guys, Matt?
My crankbait, I mean, I throw a 6XD, a 10XD, a Rapala DT, any of the DT. If we're talking about deep water, it's like a DT20, and then that duo, that G87. And then I've been experimenting with some. I like that Livingston. I threw that Livingston a little bit. I had a big one break me off on that Livingston, the really big one, the Dream Master Classic, like the Deep Plus. That thing, I'm not kidding you. I guarantee you could hit 35 foot with it. It's ridiculous.
How big is that bait? Is it like a 10XD size?
It's as long as a 10XD, but it's bigger. Like the thickness, it's way thicker than a 10XD. I'm not kidding you. It's probably that big around. It's huge.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and it weighs like two ounces almost. A little over 2 ounces. I mean, it's a heck of a bait.
You can cast that thing a mile.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was my mistake was I was throwing it only on 12 pound. I was throwing on 12-pound P-line, which should be plenty, but I mean, I was throwing it in 20 foot of water and just absolutely digging the rocks. I'm talking I couldn't keep it off the bottom, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it ain't like a 10XD. A 10XD I can hum out there and keep my rod tip up and throw it in 20 foot and it'd be okay.
I can't throw those crankbaits ever because my paddleboard and bank fishing. It pulls my paddleboard around, those big crankbaits.
Really?
I never thought of that.
I like the little the 6 cent 75 flat. Those are my favorite.
That bait is awesome. That bait is sick, especially like if I'm going to throw a square bill, I want to throw something a little bit different than 75 flat. A lot of guys go smaller, they go with like a 4.5. Dude, that flat just has such a different action. Wow.
Yeah, it has that nice tight wiggle, and I really love it.
Okay, I know I missed a question. Whopper flopper rod. Okay, so Alex and I talked about this just a little bit in the last one. I throw the 90 size a lot. I'll throw it on the 7-foot medium. But then if I'm throwing that 130 size, I'm going to like a 7.6 medium heavy. I like throwing it on a bigger rod. It's got giant hooks on it. I mean, this fish crushes, so that's what I throw it on.
Yeah, I was throwing mine on a 7.6. It's a heavy, but it's an older castaway, so it's more like a medium heavy. That's why I've been throwing mine on. I'm still experimenting with that thing. I'm not got it dialed in what I like to throw it on yet.
Have you thrown a whopper plopper yet?
Me? No. I was gonna buy one the other day, and my wife said I can't have one yet. See, she even said it. She said the Whopper Plopper. She even knew. I think she's gonna buy me stuff for Christmas. But I've seen a lot of people throw it. I watched tons of videos, and I can see it's almost the tail's almost made like the Savage Gear duck's feet, where they spin.
I've never seen a Savage do that.
It's almost the same concept and the same mount. The feet just kind of go back and forth and stuff.
Huh. I wonder if you could catch. I mean, you'd have to think you can catch some giant bass on that stuff.
Around here, where I fish, you probably catch some small ones on that duck because the small ones are really aggressive over here. They eat
After
stuff
the old boy
twice their
pulled up the
size.
other day on the lake to me and started telling me the story about catching him on that big whopper plopper, dude, I believe a bass will eat anything.
Yeah.
That old dude.
Giant one, right?
Yeah, he was throwing the musky one, and I mean it was, and he was like, it was so funny because he pulled up and he had this big gold and red. It's the gold and red one. I don't even know what the color is called, and I'd never even. It was gold and red with a silver tail, and the tail was silver and red, and I mean it's got like 3/0 treble hooks on it, and he was just like he said you got to run point to point and throw it, and he said guarantee you'll get a blow up. So we didn't have one of those, but we had a big chrome super spook, and sure enough, we pulled up on a point like a 4-pounder smoked dad super spook and missed it twice, and then wouldn't come back up on it. And if we'd have known that at the beginning of the day, I'm sure we could have put 20 pounds on the boat, maybe more.
Yeah. See, when you told me that story, there's no way I would have believed it.
Oh yeah, I mean that's the thing is like we were standing there and we had been skunked all day. And we thought, well, heck, we'll just go try it. I mean, like, you know, like the dude come completely across the lake and was like so excited. He was like shaking. He was so excited. And like, he was like, I just got to tell somebody this because I'm so excited. And we were like, okay. And so he just started telling us about what he was doing. And I was like, all right, so I guess we'll go try it.
That guy must have just been like so pumped, man.
Oh, he was.
You'd had to like really, really just be so pumped to be going up to some random dude and going on the boat.
Oh, he was jacked, and he come up. I mean, dude, shaking. He was shaking. He was so excited. He said, "Next time we're gonna go throw this chrome rat because they said they're biting that too." And I was like, the dude just pulled up. He's like, "I'm catching him on a musky-sized whopper plopper and a chrome rat." I'm like, who even does that?
Yeah, that's silly.
The fishing around here it's constantly changing. Like I'm constantly using a different lure. Like last year I used nothing but soft plastic swim baits. This year it's almost been a lot more topwater, and then the year before last it was a lot of chrome baits. For some reason they wanted that chrome.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes you find that bait that's on fire and you can use it all year long.
Mm-hmm. I've done that before too. I mean, it's like you find that one bait and it just seems to. It's seasonal here just because there's such a drastic change in water depth and temperature. But I mean, we'll get on a bait and it'll stay pretty much consistent for whatever lake it may be once the temperature, levels out.
Yeah, that's how it is here. It's very seasonal. But
someone asked, yeah, your underspin. You and that underspin have become friends, haven't you?
Yeah, we're best buds now.
That's awesome.
Let's start getting to some of these questions.
Yeah. I think someone said, what would we be thrown, or when the water drops below 50, what's your go-to lure to locate fish?
Crankbait.
You're on a new lake. Yeah, crankbait or a spinnerbait. Something moving.
I love throwing a crankbait, man. That's the best way to find fish, especially like if I don't know where they're at, I'll go up and throw that crankbait and just try to find some. So that's my bait.
Matt?
It's hard. It doesn't really like 1 week it'll drop below 50 here. So it's hard to say. I think below 50 lipless cranks all the way. Just burn them and burn them and burn them and burn them.
Yeah. I got smoked by John on the crankbait.
Favorite punching bait? I like a structure bug. I pretty much flip a structure bug or something like that with the flange tails, but probably just a normal size structure bug.
I will throw a gambler burner craw. I love that.
Yeah, burner craw's a good one too. Anything that does a lot of kicking, that's what I like to throw.
I constantly change my punching rig. I constantly change everything. I think one of my favorites last year was the Biffle bug.
Yeah.
Do you pull the sides off of it when you're punching it, or no? You're pretty okay getting it through.
The Biffle bug already comes detached, but it's really stiff, so it keeps its form, and it has the flat buzz type feet, so you can actually swim it too, and do other multiple ways you can fish it.
Oh, that's pretty sweet. Okay. Yeah, Sean. No.
No. No, sir.
Just go steal it off his boat.
How's it going, Bass Boys?
Still an SD card out.
Thank you, Jeff, for subscribing. I appreciate it.
I didn't even know Jackal made jerkbaits.
Yeah. I've never thrown them. They have, what is it, the Jackal, they have, it's really goofy looking. It's small, too. But no, I've never thrown one.
No. I've got a lot of Jackal swim baits, but I didn't even know they made jerkbaits. The stuff's so expensive. I kind of steer away from it because, I really love their plastics, but I can't justify paying $8 for five crawls or whatever. You know what I mean? It's a lot of money.
Yeah, I don't throw crosstail. Is that Jackal?
I think.
Yeah, I think so. I can't justify spending that money on it. Yeah. Even though they're supposed to be awesome.
Like the flick shake, I love to throw the flick shake on a wacky rig, but it's a one and done bait. And I mean, I think it's like $8 and something for a 5 or 6 pack. That's over $1 a bait. That's kind of crazy.
Chippewa Lures wants to talk jigs.
That's my buddy Joe.
You know, I know an underrated jig. It's actually a punching setup that no one's really fished a lot of, and I love mine. And it's really thin, triangle shape, and it comes like 1.5 ounce to 2 ounce weight, and it has a swivel hook and the skirt and everything, so it punches through really good. It's the Stanley makes it. Stanley Jigs. It's freaking awesome.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like that.
I can go find one
East Coast
somewhere.
jigs.
I was out fishing with Joe from Chippewa Lures today. He makes hand-tied living rubber jigs. Dude, when you're in water temp that's when it's cold, living rubber, and I know Matt, this doesn't apply, but living rubber is a huge deal. Because when you're soaking that jig, it will pulse and basically live underwater. So if you're throwing a jig, especially in the cold weather, I really, really recommend throwing a living rubber jig. My favorite. What's your favorite color? That's a good question.
Black and blue.
Like a natural crawl, I don't know, Beast Coast makes it. It's my favorite color. I think it's just called natural crawl, but it literally looks just like a brown crawdad you would find in a creek. And I just switch the trailers up according to the claw color of the crawls in the lake. But I mean, that's my favorite color.
Yeah, I love a brown jig. I'll throw a brown jig and a green jig all year.
I mean, because pretty much your crawdads, their color phases, unless you're way down south where you've got actual red crawdads, like Cajun crawdads, or you're in a really diverse river system where you got those lime green crawdads and blue crawdads and stuff like that. Pretty much all your crawdads going to be just that mud brown color because it's just that's how they blend in. That's how they keep from getting eaten.
Yeah, unless I'm in real dirty water.
Yeah.
Black and blue is a great jig color. I just don't throw it out. I don't have enough confidence in it.
I throw black and blue deep water.
That's the point.
You can't go wrong with black and blue.
No.
Hookup ratio on a jig. Okay, I love when I'm throwing a jig. If I can get a fish hook, or if I get a bite, it's typically getting in the boat. For me, I can count on a jig to put fish in the boat.
I think you got to have your right setup. You got to have some good braid or heavy line and a heavy rod. Because if you don't have a heavy rod, you're not going to get a good hookup ratio. You're going to lose so many fish on a jig.
And you got to jack them.
Yeah.
I mean, with the jig, you can really set the hook on the fish. Unless you're throwing a finesse jig with like a lighter hook, man, you can lay into the fish.
Yeah, you hear a lot of people like. No, go ahead, Matt.
So they got all the jigs got really thick hooks. When you have that thick hook, you need a good hook set.
Yeah.
20.
Yeah, don't be afraid to jack a fish. You hear a lot of people saying, set the hook so hard, you set the hook so hard. Depending on the bait, you really got to jack a fish. I mean, a jig, a punching rig, a frog. I mean, like with a frog, you got to imagine when a fish comes up and eats a frog, he's not only eating the frog, he's eating a mouthful of grass, and then he's taking it and he's going under that mat away from you. So you really got to hit him hard to get that hook drove in.
I think the funniest thing, I live around a lot of saltwater, and the funniest thing is when you go saltwater fishing with bass guys, and then you take saltwater guys fishing, bass fishing, because all their hookups are so wrong. It's the funny, because when you're saltwater fishing, you don't set the hook because they have soft lips, so the hook will just go right through the skin. You don't ever set the hook hard.
A lot of guys use circle hooks too, so you can just reel it. I mean, it sets itself. So
you go on a charter, and so many people are just like, oh, and then they lose fish, and it's the funniest thing. I just sat back laughing the whole time.
Yeah, I've never saltwater fish, man. That'd be a cool experience for sure.
I have one time. It was so much fun. Like offshore saltwater fish. I've surfaced a bunch.
If you always go offshore the first day, and then go in the flats like the second day. Once you get your catching and your fishing offshore, then you're not worried about catching something, and you'll be amazed by it. I think it looks better, and it's more fun to paddle in the flats than offshore.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to see my first tarpon inshore this year, where we went with Bethany for vacation, and I saw it was huge. It had to be a 5 or 6 foot tarpon, and it rolled on some bait fish, and I was like giddy, like a child when I saw that thing. I didn't even get my hands on it, nothing. I just saw it, and I got giddy. I was so excited.
Okay, that's a good question. Logical Thinker asked, rattles or no rattles and square bills and crankbaits. Most of my baits have rattles, and I'll throw a bait with the rattle until basically either A, I'm not getting bit and it's been a long time, then I'll go to a silent bait, or I'm catching fish and they shut off, then I'll throw a silent bait as like a follow-up to the bait rattle.
That's a perfect rule of thumb. I agree 100% about that.
Mine has a lot to do with water clarity. I'll throw rattles when the water's muddy, because a lot of the times when I'm going to throw a square bill is when they're bringing the lakes back up or bringing the lakes down, which muddies them up. So I'm almost always throwing rattles.
Yeah,
rattles in like chartreuse. It's some chartreuse color.
Hey, we can roll this into the other question. What water clarity do you prefer? I think 90% of bass fishermen, if you ever ask them, especially tournament, I think muddy water. Unless it's like the spring, muddy water is probably the best.
I like that in between. I like that. I like stained water. I don't like muddy water, and I don't like clear water. I like that just good, like 3 to 4 foot, just good green water. If you're a fisherman, you know what I'm talking about. It's that just good watercolor. You see it and you go, that's good watercolor.
It's awesome. I have one pond over here like that, and it's amazing fishing. And all my other ones is that dark stained where it's completely clear, but it's dark. It's that dark water, so the bass are really dark.
Yeah.
No, that's a good question. That's a good segue. So is that tannic water then, or it's like real dark and like?
Yeah.
I've never
seen
it.
It's almost. It comes out sometimes almost like a red color. It's weird color.
Yeah, you see that a lot. The farther south you get, the more water you find like that. I think it's vegetation is what does it, isn't it?
I think it's the minerals, because a lot of these lakes down here, like if you look up the dune lakes, the coastal dune lakes in Florida, which I live right by, a lot of minerals run from up north, the Mississippi River and stuff, and they flush out into that, and the salt water mixes with it, and it makes that tannic water.
Makes sense.
Those lakes are pretty awesome. You can catch bass, redfish, trout, everything out of them.
Yeah.
That's a good question, Mopol Bassin. Best line for deep cranking. It depends on depth. A lot of times if I'm throwing like a 300 BD, I'm throwing it on typically 12 pound test is my go-to deep cranking line. If I really got to get a bait down deep, I'll go to 10. But super, I mean, I'd rather fight a fish on 12.
Yeah, mine's 12. I use 10 or 12, just depends.
I was gonna say I don't go under 12, but when I'm fishing the rivers, I like to throw 20. I
I'm throwing a
think it's
square
a
bill.
current thing.
I'm throwing a square bill. I'm throwing like 16 to 20 pound test.
I use P-line though, so I can kind of get away with it a little bit. I mean, I can throw 10-pound test and have confidence in it.
That's a good point. Just confidence in your mind. Sam Morrison, I have ice fish. I have 1 or 2 videos. I'm not a huge ice fishing guy. There's a ton of like walleye fishing out on the bay and a ton of ice fishing around here, but it's kind of cold, man. I don't like the cold.
I love ice fishing in Florida. It's the best.
Personal best. My personal best smallmouth is a 6'9". That's a giant smallmouth. I don't remember how big my.
Why do we have to bring this up? Why? It's a 6.
Personal best.
My personal best smallmouth is as big as Alex's personal best largemouth almost.
My personal best smallmouth doesn't exist.
Have you never caught a smallmouth?
I told you I want to go up to there with you, Alex, and catch one.
Come on, bro.
Some vacation time.
Come on, bro. I'd love for you to, dude. I love smallmouth is literally my favorite species to catch.
My PB largemouth though is on a farm pond when I was probably about 15. I got a 10.5.
Dang, that's awesome.
But the closest I've got to beating that is a 8. So,
Wow.
and the 8 I actually got on my YouTube video off the paddleboard in the pond that's 5 feet in front of my house.
That's awesome.
That's so cool.
Mine is like I've said before, I've never really weighed fish until recently, but I know I've caught some fish. You know, I think the biggest largemouth probably like 7.5, 7 pounds. That 7 pound range. I've never caught anything bigger. I've never caught like an 8 or a 9 or anything like that. That's my goal though. I want a double digit. Bad.
Right now's the time to do it.
When do they spawn down there? When do they really start moving up to spawn?
Bama Bass just put out a pretty good video on helping you catch those giant bass.
Yeah, he ain't fishing in East Tennessee on thousands upon hundreds of thousands.
Tennessee's got big ones. You can watch Chad Hoover fish, and they got some big ones up there.
Yeah, where's Chad? I think Chad lives in Middle Tennessee.
Okay, Peter, that's a good question. I love my Phoenix, man. I just had this conversation with one of my buddies, Brian. He's getting Phoenix now. Phoenix, and it's preference, obviously, but I think the layout is like the perfect layout for what I need to do up here. Also, it's got a real deep V, so it V's all the way almost to the back, with the exception of the pad, which is like a square this big. And then essentially that allows like a perfect, awesome rough water ride.
I like them. I watched some videos. I'm not a boat guy. I don't own a boat, but I watched them. I like them because they have the bigger up front. Like the whole platform up front's bigger than a lot of other boats. And that's
hey guys, I'll be right back. Okay.
No worries, man. Yeah, they do have a real wide front deck. It's huge, and it doesn't want to narrow off real tight. So that's my.
If you want a mini Phoenix, like it's a little bit smaller but the same layout and everything, a Bass Cats. They're like almost identical.
That's true. Thank you, Bryceless. I appreciate it, man. Motor is not fixed, unfortunately. I'm taking it in on Saturday for them to look at it and basically give me a diagnosis. I think it's a head gasket. I think it's either a head gasket, and I'm praying to God that I didn't blow up yesterday. Because
what happened? Did you throw it? Hopefully you didn't throw it in reverse randomly.
No, I was driving at 4,000 RPM, and it just didn't feel right, so I turned it off, turned it back on, and I could smell it like burning oil, which is not supposed to before snow. Like it shot some white smoke out, and I'm like, so I took it back to the ramp, put it on the trailer.
Probably is a head gasket. It sounds like a compression issue. It's not getting.
So I'm praying it should be under warranty. My first personal boat was a 14-foot. Okay, I spent way too much money on it. It was like, well, way too much at the time. It was like $1,800. and it was this junky aluminum boat. The floor literally was rotted out. My dad was like telling me not to buy it, and I bought it anyways. And then I spent a whole bunch of money redoing the floors. And, but that was my first one. It was 14-foot Sylvan Sport Roller.
That's awesome.
Mine
I'm
was
eyeing. Go ahead.
mine was one of those just little square pond hopper boats with the 2 seats and the pontoons, little plastic things, the trolling motor.
That's pretty cool.
I've never owned a big boat. I just never wanted to spend all that money. When my dad, literally growing up, all he ever does is bank fish, and he's caught a 16-pound bass bank fishing. So I'm like, if I can catch big fish from the bank, why do I need a big boat to do that?
I'm eyeing a. Dude, I tell you, I mean, I'll probably buy a Skeeter. I mean, I'm a Skeeter guy, you know. But have you seen those new Lund, the 21-foot Lund aluminums that you can put a 250 on?
Yeah.
Dude, that's
Those are
sick. That is sick. I mean, and for the price, I mean, you almost can't beat that. And the storage is ridiculous. You can like lay down in the rod lockers. I mean, it's awesome. Like a 95 or 100-inch beam. I mean, dude, it's sick.
Logical thing, you're funny, man. Because I know that the brown walking bait is the turd bait, I think. But top 3 smallmouth baits. If you just want to catch fish, tube, drop shot, crankbait. And then
I thought you were gonna say underspin.
If you get 2 more, then you get a swim bait and you get a jerkbait. And the swim bait I'm throwing most likely under them.
See, if you live in Tennessee, it's an Alabama rig, and a jerkbait. Alabama rig, spinnerbait, jerkbait.
I tell you what, I always save the Alabama rig for the winter when it starts to get really cold. It seems like when you can see them getting active, I just throw that Alabama rig and burn it right across the top, and I catch so many fish.
Mm-hmm.
I have not
Mine, I fish it fast, but not too. It's kind of a medium retrieve, a little bit faster than a medium, just enough where it's like you can't see it under the surface. You know what I mean? But if you cranked it one good time, you could see it come up. And I mean, the smallmouths especially are so aggressive when it's cold.
Yeah, the Alabama rigs are awesome. When you see bait balls on the top, a lot of people throw topwater. I like to throw the Alabama rig and go right through them.
Alabama rig or bowl of spinnerbait.
I'm not calling it Alabama. I wanted to. I don't know. Might not go in this year.
The one technique I really never ever use is Carolina rig. I never use a Carolina rig, except for when I'm saltwater fishing. That's about
I
it.
hate them things. I'd rather take a beating as to throw a Carolina rig, but I know I have seen more guys catch more big fish on a dang on Carolina rig, and I refuse to throw it. It drives me up the wall to throw it.
It's hard to feel the bite because bass don't just like run all the time with it, so it's really hard to feel the bite.
Here's a good segue with the Carolina rig, and this is something I did a little bit at the end of the season. Instead of throwing a tube where I have some hookup issues, like I don't know what it is about a tube, I have a hard time like getting really pinned on a tube. I will throw a Carolina rig with a tube on there, and fish crush it, dude.
It makes sense. I always fish my tubes really like violently. I don't. Do you do that, Ben? Like I pop mine. Like I've never fished it slow. Like I'll pop it off the bottom and then let it flutter down, and pop it off the bottom and let it flutter down. Kind of almost like fishing a flutter spoon, but not not big jerks. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I do it a little bit. Like most of the time I'm dragging the tube real slow. But if the bite is kind of funny that day or it's like slick, I'll cast that tube out there, and once it gets to the bottom, I'll push it like a jerkbait. I will like snap my rod.
Yeah.
Snap. And what that tube then does is like as soon as it's dragging, it'll come up and then flutter back down.
Yeah.
Almost like you were saying, like a flutter spoon.
Yeah.
I'm not a big tube guy.
There was a question on here about. Hold on 1 second. Let's see if I can find it. Jerkbait brand. I think the best jerkbait on the market, and this is, I don't even know that it's arguable.
Rapala. I like Rapala.
Yeah, Rapala makes a good one, but Megabass, the Vision 110 is so, I mean, it's expensive. It's a premium bait, but it really will catch smart.
Yeah, y'all need to take a loan out to buy some, but yeah, they're really good baits.
Or you can buy the Lucky Strike knockoff. It's just about as good. $7.
I saw those the other day. I was wondering about those. Because there's a bunch of companies that have come out with ones that look like the Vision. I think they sold the mold for it or something.
They did, yeah. They sold the mold, and now there are a bunch of companies making the same bait. But if you buy the molds, or if you buy the blanks on eBay, a lot of them don't have the weight transfer. So a lot of them will just float. They'll just float straight to the top. I made that mistake.
I like Strike King. That KVD jerkbait. But you've never thrown it? It's pretty good for the price. When you switch the hooks out on it, and it's killer.
I end up half the time I throw a jerkbait, I end up swimming it like a crankbait because I get bored.
Multiple bass, and I don't change the hooks out. If I'm in a tournament or something where I really got to put a fish in the boat and I don't want to take a chance, I might. But unless it's a real bad hook, I'll just feel it, and if it's sticky, I'll leave it on. It's real expensive to change hooks out on all the baits. Until it gets dull, you can only leave it on there.
Even if you have the split ring powers, it still takes time. So you got to make sure you're completely prepped before a fishing day. I missed a nice 4 the other day, which that video is coming out Friday because I threw the Yozuri spook, whatever they call it, Yozuri pencil. I threw that from the lucky tackle box we got, and they weren't sticky at all, the hooks, and I lost a big fish.
Really, mine were like stupid sticky. I stuck myself, I stuck my pants, I stuck my sweatshirt, almost stuck my dad. I mean, it was just a mess.
Shallow, deep lakes or medium shallow lakes? That's a difficult question. I like to fish like medium depth. My favorite depth is like 8 to 12 foot of water. That's where I really feel comfortable, unless I'm flipping like lay downs and cover.
I love deep water. I love the deep fish. I just like deep cranking is my problem. So if I can catch them in 20 foot of water on a 10XD, that's what I want to do. Otherwise, I want to be beating the banks with a swim bait or a spinnerbait or an A-rig or something catching. I'm like I am the two extremes on my favorite kinds of fishing. I want it to be 30 degrees and throwing an A-rig, or I want it to be 100 degrees and I want to be throwing a 10XD. I'm just weird like that, though.
I don't
know. In between for me.
I always go shallow. I think really shallow, like 1 to 3 feet, only because I don't have a depth finder. And 1 to 3 feet, I pretty much can find the depth on my own.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point, man. A lot of people think you gotta have tons of electronics and tons of money for electronics, but you can always find fish shallow. I don't care if it's right before ice or it's the hottest time of the year. There are gonna be resident fish shallow all year round.
I don't ever use fish finders. I like to make it a concept. So when people watch my YouTube, they don't see me. It's all instinct.
He's a fish ninja. He is the fish whisperer.
That's how I was raised.
Where the fish at?
Grandfather and fathers told me how to fish like that. This is how I fish, man.
You know, dude, I got something proved to me this year that it kind of blew my mind. I never thought a fish would live in water so shallow that its back almost sticks out of it. But I've caught so many fish this year. In any of my frog fishing videos here in like East Tennessee on Mountain Hill, you'll see where I'm throwing up into is literally, it might be anywhere from 6 inches to like 2 foot deep. I mean, I have fish 3 pounds blow up on a frog in like 8 inches of water. It's incredible.
Yeah, that's silly.
See, I bet if I go out with you guys one time when I fish deep, my whole concept will probably just like flip upside down.
I love it, dude. I love using my graphs and electronics, but
I do too. I love that. I love finding the fish, pinpointing them, figuring out exactly where they're at, figuring out how to set up on them, and catching one. It is literally one of the most satisfying feelings in the world to know that you did that. Like, it's just, it's awesome. It's a great feeling.
Our depth finder when I was younger, when we went to a little pond or lake that we'd never been to, was a big, like 1-2 ounce egg weight and just dragging it on the bottom and finding structure and stuff. When you
That's
find
great.
it, we would mark it, and then we'd fish it.
That's actually kind of a cool way to do it. Well, that's the thing. Like, I love my boat. I love having these really expensive fish finders, but so many people think that this is what you have to do to catch big fish. You don't. I mean, Alex and I have had the same conversation. You don't need to have all this stuff on fish.
I mean, how do you think guys caught fish deep for the first 85 years of bass fishing? I mean, it wasn't until literally probably 10 years ago, and maybe less than that, that a fish finder or a depth finder or a graph or whatever you call it actually came out that had a screen that you could see the bottom. And it wasn't until 5 years ago that we had HDS technology and sonar technology and chirp and everything else, and it just keeps advancing and keeps advancing. But I mean, you got to think 5, 6 years ago, we couldn't even, pull up our HDS side imaging and side image fish. You know what I mean? So I mean, if you've got a lake map and Google Earth and whatever else it might be, the best thing, especially around here because they jerk the water up and down so much, is use Google Earth and find rock piles that are under the water during the summer. Mark them on Google Earth and then just go to them and throw, you can, if you have just even a simple depth finder, go find the depth change, and that's probably where that piece of structure is at in correlation with your Google map. And then check it on a lake map to see if it's where a point runs out, or usually they'll have something marked, and then you can fish that piece of structure. It's just figuring out. It's just like us. We just find it on our graphs and then set up on it and figure out what angle we need to fish it at. Whereas someone like you would find it on Google Earth and then find it on the depth finder and then try to set up on it and figure out where the fish are at.
Bill Dance never really used depth finders back in the day. They didn't have them. But the good thing about a boat, though, is you can cover more water. Like, I'm on my paddleboard. Trust me, I can't keep up with their boat when I'm on my paddleboard. There's no way. Unless I can tie a rope to you guys when you drag me. Here's a good one. This is the one I get a lot, actually. Spinnerbait versus Chatterbait.
Spinnerbait. Sorry.
I'm the complete opposite.
Chatterbait.
Mine's
I
Chatterbait.
wonder why. I don't know if it's a confidence thing for me or if it's a grass thing.
To me,
Go ahead.
Completely different. The Chatterbait's going to have a bigger profile look when it's going through and fluttering and moving, and the Spinnerbait's going to look like a little bait ball, like the flashing and everything going through. So to me, it's two completely different lures, even though a lot of people like to put them together.
Yeah. And see, we've got a bunch of small bait fish, and then we've got giant bait fish. And I think, like you'll see, yesterday is a prime example of this. As I was fishing. I was bait fishing, actually, and I was watching the bait fish, and you had, like, the little tiny, little bitty bait fish, like minnows, and then you had, like, those kind of medium-sized ones that looks like silver dollars. Well, the silver dollar size ones were the ones that the bass were eating. And when I'm throwing a spinnerbait that's got, one big profile bait and then the two Colorado blades, it looks just like 3 or 4 of those little silver dollar size ones swimming around.
Now, Chatterbait I just like it. It pulls out big fish, like, all the time. And Chatterbaits always pull out big fish for me. My wife got her personal best this past summer, and she calls it the Chatty Cathy. And she likes to, when she's reeling it, like, it was the funniest thing when she's first reeling it. She's like, I don't feel it chatting anymore. I'm like, set the hook. Set the hook. Every time was a fish, too. She lost so many fish that day. She finally got the one that was over 5 pounds.
When that, like when your blade stops, like chattering or whatever you want to call it, vibrating on a chatterbait, dude, just sucks.
I need to get a bunch of more chatterbaits. Or
like
actually, Nichols makes one as a chatterbox. I need to get a couple of those and just start throwing them more.
How about some of the Phoenix ones before they Z-Man outlawed them, like the hexagon-shaped blade or whatever? I don't know what kind of blade it is. Whatever it is. And,
yeah.
I love that thing. Hey, thank you, Takahiro.
Takahiro.
I knew it.
Takahiro.
I knew it. I'm going to catch a big one.
Dude,
favorite?
I had a cool experience on the water today. So there's been some chatter around here about making videos out on the river that I fish. Dude, this kid came up to me in his boat with his dad. His dad is literally sitting in the boat with him because he can't be out there by himself. I'm sure the kid's like 8 years old,
Yeah.
and the kid sees me coming fishing, and he like walks back to the back by his dad. He's like, dude, I think that's so and so, right? And when his dad starts talking to me, he's like, yeah, we came out here after seeing your videos, man. He's like, thanks so much for doing this. Dude, that was the coolest experience. Like, that is why I do this stuff. So the interaction that I have on this, live stream and all this other stuff, all the interaction on my videos, it means a lot to see people are like really enjoying my content and like it's making an impact on people. Like seeing that kid, and he's probably better with bait caster than I am. He was casting a weightless Senko and like skipping up under trees and stuff. But like seeing that was so cool, man. So I don't know if he's watching this. I don't know if he'll watch this video, but that was so cool to me.
That is awesome, dude. That's cool.
I love it. I love when people. Yeah, I love it when people. I mean, I made YouTube because I always fish by myself, and I felt like when I watched people fishing on YouTube, I felt like I was fishing with them. So that's when I just started making my own videos. It's pretty much one reason. The other reason is one of my friend I caught like 2 5s one day, and he was like, "You need to just make a YouTube channel." So I made one, and then he moved away, and I'm fishing by myself again.
I really don't know why I started a YouTube channel. I think I just was like, I want to just, I don't know. I like kind of just, I remember my first video was like it was right after I got my GoPro, and we went to Gunnersville, and like it was awful. It was like a Foo Fighters song, and it was the worst edit ever, and like, it was like, it's like you can go all the way back. It's my very first video, and it's just like a bunch of just noise and like maybe like 3 fish catches. And I posted it, and like I went back the other day and looked at it, and my description was, "Well, here's my first YouTube upload," and it's like I don't know. After that, I just started making. It's like I took like a whole year and didn't make any videos, right? And then like we caught some muskie, and like then I just started, and I thought, you know what? I'm gonna upload a video at least once a week because I go fishing every week, and I've been doing it ever since.
My first video is so bad. I got a nice 6.5 on a spinnerbait, but it's like camera's so everywhere you can't see what's going on. It's so bad.
You want to know the real story behind why I started a YouTube channel?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so the first couple hundred subscribers I got were not fishing oriented. I started a YouTube channel probably 2 or 3 years ago for a music channel, and so there are like 50 or 60 videos hidden on my page that are me singing.
No.
Yeah.
We gotta hack and put one out.
Every day for the next 50 days, you're putting one of them mugs out. At least once a month. I gotta see that.
Yeah, dude. So that's actually why I have a YouTube channel. And then it turned.
Dude, are you like the next Garth Brooks and we don't know it?
No.
Do you have a hidden talent? Come on.
No, I don't anymore.
Bro,
I had another channel before this
one. If you don't post one of
one.
those up, I'm done. I'm quitting if you don't post one of those up.
I had another channel before this one where I just worked on cars.
That's awesome.
That's pretty sweet. So you're
But I got rid of it though. It was a Ford. I worked on my Ford Festiva like constantly.
That's awesome. What was funny is my YouTube name used to be AR Outdoors. Was my thing before I changed it to Alex Rudd Fishing. It was AR Outdoors, and it was just, I guess Alex Rudd Outdoors is what I was thinking. Yeah, it used to be AR Outdoors. It had like a Instagram page and everything. There's like an Instagram page floating around out there. It's got like 1,100 followers because I like bought it from a guy, and like nobody ever liked any of my pictures because the guy I bought it from was like a truck page or something stupid like that. I don't even know what I was thinking.
You should have kept it and did the ARRR, like 3 R's or something, and had like a pirate as your mascot.
Yeah, no kidding. I should have done something stupid with it.
It's interesting to hear people's stories on like why they got started on YouTube, right?
Hey, everyone, ask Ben to sing.
I don't understand Takahiro.
He's got too much echo in his area. It won't come out good.
Yeah.
I got friends in low places. Come on, Ben.
But, yeah. How did I get sponsored by Big Sunflower Seeds? That is a good question. Not a great story.
No, it's not. We want you to sing.
Not a good story, but it is a good question. I emailed them. I chew seeds, dude. I chew a lot of sunflower seeds, and so I saw that they do a bunch of snowboarding work, and so I had this idea in my mind that you could turn people on to fishing by making fishing videos like snowboarding videos. And so I started looking at all these snowboarding videos, realized Meg was in the snowboarding world, got a hold of them, and we just started to work together.
We used to make a lot of skateboarding videos when I skateboarded in high school. And they were the craziest stuff.
I broke myself, so I never did that again.
I'm still okay. Kind of like my balance is way off because I probably gained like 60 pounds since I last skated.
See, that's like those skate videos. So it's kind of like I think that's where fishing YouTube videos, like the compilation or highlight videos, that's where it's got to go, somewhere in that direction. But they don't know how to do it. Like you look at some of these vloggers that are YouTubers, or excuse me, skateboarders that are vloggers, and they incorporate like skating into their vlogs, but at the end of the day, it's still vlogging. John Hill, Garrett Jenner, these guys are giant YouTubers, but they throw in like 10 minutes of skating. I'm trying to figure out a way to do that. I don't know if there is one. I don't know. I don't think there is.
I did a little bit of skateboarding in one of my fishing videos, skating the spots.
I think that your YouTube channel needs to be whatever you want your YouTube channel to be. You post the videos that you enjoy making and doing, and I mean, you'll find an audience. There's an audience out there for everybody. I mean, I hate having to be isolated to like, well, it's a vlogging channel. Like all the time, like people are commenting on all the big, John and AP's videos. Like, this is just a vlogging channel now. It's like, maybe that's the kind of video they enjoy doing. And I mean, if they happen to be, are they vloggers who fish or fishermen who vlog? Why do we have to have a title? Why can't we just have a YouTube channel and express our creativity through YouTube?
And I agree.
I try the vlogging. I try the vlogging every now and then, but it's just not me. I like to just get out there and fish and show you guys what I catch. That's pretty much what I like to do.
And I'm kind of getting into for me, it's just doing something other than just like filming the fishing. I do have a passion to do like film like outside of just fishing. The problem with that is it's like there's not a whole lot to film on a boat, one, and two, I'd rather fish.
Mm-hmm.
So doing like the vlog style, to me, would give me sort of more of that opportunity. So people might say.
And I'm thinking about, I don't know, we can talk about it right now, and since we got people watching, I can get their input too, and get your guys' input. Like when my foot gets better, before I broke my foot, I was planning on doing like incorporating some hiking stuff into my, like, because I hike. I love to hike. That's one of my things that I go do other than fish. You know what I mean? That's how I exercise. And so I was thinking about like doing some hiking videos, or maybe even like there's some places where I go hike where I can go fish, and like doing some bank fishing videos where I hike to the fishing spot. Because I like to just film too. Like today we went and took senior pictures for Bethany's sister, and like while I'm waiting for them to do whatever they're doing, I was over there like getting B-roll of just like random things, just because I enjoy actually filming and being creative in different angles and stuff like that.
Yeah. See, that's a good point. I think it's just filming and making content whatever we want to make. Right? It doesn't have to be. I don't want it to be like, oh, we're fishermen who vlog or whatever it is. I just want it to be, I'm Ben Nowak, and if I want to vlog, then I can vlog, and if I want to take video of a nice, beautiful tree outside blowing in the wind, I can do whatever I want.
I added the fishing on my title just so people know. It used to be just Matt Rhodes. I did that so people are going to know that it's a fishing channel. There might be random stuff every now and then, but it's mainly a fishing channel. So that's a good key. If you want to appeal to a lot of people, add fishing or outdoors, or so people know it's an outdoors kind of feel.
Mm-hmm. And it may be one of those things is later on when I'm way more established than I am now, that I change the name to like Outdoors or something, Alex Red Outdoors or something like that. Because I'm not ever going to post a video that isn't outdoors related. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
I do a lot of paddleboard fishing, and I actually asked a lot of people because I was going to change it to sup to fish because it's up to the fish, and I'm paddleboarding, stand-up paddleboard, sup. So I was going to do it sup to fish, and I thought it was awesome, but a lot of people didn't like it. They liked just Matt Rhodes fishing, so I kept it.
Yeah.
Sometimes just ask your audience. They'll answer it for you. It might not be a big audience, but they'll answer it. Mine's not a big audience, but that's okay.
We're all growing.
I jump around. I'm getting a lot more saltwater in on my stuff, so I'm constantly losing and gaining subscribers.
You know, in the whole vlogging thing, I think vlogging becomes more easy the more YouTube becomes an actual job.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you can actually make enough money that you don't have to have a real job and you can do YouTube all the time, well, then obviously vlogging is going to become much more easier because that's your life. You know what I mean? So, I mean,
I'd
if
make
I
some
had,
awesome videos. The area I live in.
I mean, like, if I could literally fish every day or do something outdoors every day and like be able to go and travel and, you know, whatever every day, oh, I could carry the camera around with me, no problem. It'd be fun.
What is this quote? I like this quote. It kind of actually sums me up. Takahiro over there. That's how I am. I'm a different person. I fish different than a lot of people because I grew up learning how to fish and doing it my own style. So it's hard. I'll get out and try a new lure that just comes out and it's so hard. My dad, you know what my dad fishes with? The only thing he ever fishes with is a Texas rigged blue. It's got to be blue Zoom Lizard. That's it. All year long.
Blue.
Favorite weight and color jig. Yeah, Walking Dead's coming on in about 4 minutes. But favorite weight and color jig. I throw a half ounce about 90% of the time, unless I'm trying to.
Half ounce or 3/8 is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, half ounce. I'm a half ounce guy.
We went over color earlier. Black and blue, natural color, natural crawl.
We're
gonna give this.
I think one thing. Cool. I think something good for anybody to do. It doesn't matter if you're a bank angler or a boat angler. Is get you a crawdad trap and hide it somewhere at the lake. I mean, you know, don't put it somewhere somebody's going to steal it. But if you can find somewhere that's pretty easily hidden, put the crawdad trap in and pull the crawdads out and see what color they are and match the hatch. It's the best way to figure out what crawdad the bass want.
Yep. Black and blue will work for the water too. It's just one of those confidence things, man. I really think you can make a jig work just about anywhere, and 95% of the times, I'm more concerned about the trailer color than the jig color. I think the jig is an accent, and the trailer is really what those fish be in, but that's my opinion. See you, bass boys.
See you, man.
You fish Wheeler, Alex?
Yeah, I fished it last month or month before last. We went at night. We went down to the dam, and I was throwing a Nichols nighttime spinnerbait. Is what I caught that big smallie on. And then we had a couple more good ones hooked, and then the battery died, and we had to leave.
I need to send you some Doomsday Reapers. They're really tiny crawls, perfect for jig trailers. Like especially if you like the little bitty jigs. They're perfect for smallmouth.
Now, is that company? They've gotten a lot of push up here in Michigan too. Are they from the area, or where are they from? Do you know?
Tennessee. They're right down the street from Alex. Alex has talked to him a couple times.
Who, Doomsday?
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to get in touch with that guy. I know yeah, they're making pretty cool stuff.
They got a lot of cool stuff.
If David likes them, then I'm sure they're a good company.
They have a new frog coming out. It's completely different than any other frog you've ever seen. It's like a foam-based body. You can use an extra wide gap hook to put in it. Just bait it just like Texas rig, and it has arms and legs. But you can take the skirt out to have just legs if that's what you prefer to walk it better. And they actually have those for sale right now. You can buy them. It just
That's
came out
cool.
with a couple.
I'll have to check that out.
And
That
Tom
won that
Morehouse,
award, or what was that show they went to?
they went to something Creek show. I had a live chat for it.
Yeah,
Something Creek show, and they won an award.
yeah.
They won a lot of awards. Apparently, that's a really big show up there in the Tennessee area.
I've never heard of it.
I know.
It's strange.
It's like
weird.
ICAST in Florida, but up there.
Really? Well, I tell you, my problem is I live in East Tennessee. I mean, Tennessee's a very long state. I mean, it's like people say, you know, like, oh, you live in Tennessee. It's not all hillbillies and Vol fans. Like, you get over in West Tennessee, and it's just a completely different world over there.
Yeah. And Tom asked if I'm sponsored by Casking. Yeah, I'm sponsored. I've been on their team for like 3 years, almost since they've started. I love them. They're awesome. And I'm actually going to do a live show on the 15th of every month about casking stuff.
That'd be cool.
I'm gonna have like one guest on each show probably, but I'm probably gonna do it this 15th. I'm gonna try to push one. But
I
no,
really like their braid. It's so good.
They called me and they wanted me to do a show and talk about stuff, kind of like the LTV show.
That'd be sweet.
So I'm gonna run it.
No, I don't. I don't fish a lot of tournaments just because of the YouTube thing. I really enjoy video and fun fishing. I'm not a big tournament guy.
Work on Smallmouth in Alabama.
My wife looked it up. It is the Pittman Creek Show. That's what
Pittman Creek Show.
That's
And what would you say, Ben?
Fishing South asked for the big smallmouth is in Alabama. Work on those big smallmouth in Alabama.
Yeah, 4 or 5 pounds. I know there's been some bigger ones caught, of course, but I mean, anywhere Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia, 4 or 5 pounds is big. 6 pounds is huge. I've seen one 6-pound smallmouth in my whole entire life, and I didn't catch it. Someone else caught it.
We got to go up to Ben. I like this Tom. He says he loves and hates his Cast King Carbon. I think he meant his Casting Stealth. And it's funny because Alex is the same way.
It's a love-hate relationship with me.
But the new Assassin is I think it's pretty much like an upgraded model to me. It's better. It fixes all the issues that you had with the Stealth.
Well, if they want to send me one to review, I would happily do it because I hated to be like this is an awful reel because it's not an awful reel. It's a good reel. Yeah, it's a good reel with just some weird quirky things about it. Like the whole magnet system is kind of just quirky. You just got to really play with it. It does a lot better with braid though.
Yes. I was going to say high braid. I took a high braid with big swim baits and stuff on it, and it does perfect. Never an issue. When you get to the low, like 8-pound to 10-pound mono and stuff, that's where you're going to get a lot of your issues.
Yeah.
I've wondered if it's because that spool's so light on it. Like
it's exactly what it is.
Ben just jerks out this little ice fishing rod all of a sudden. Where did that even come from?
That's the main problem. They made it super light. It's like under 6 ounces, which is Assassin's under 6 ounces too. It's actually lighter.
Yeah.
It's 5.2 ounces, I think. But yeah, that's what it is. The spool is so much lighter, an aluminum spool on the Stealth.
Yeah. Yeah, and the guy Tom's right. It will cast a mile as long as it doesn't backlash on you. Like, I mean, you could literally spool the dang on thing if you wanted to, but it's just keeping it from backlash. Any kind of wind, any bait under like an ounce, you're done.
I was fishing yesterday with a Doomsday Turtle and against the wind, and I didn't have that many backlash issues, surprisingly. And it was moving my turtle. It was like flying a kite through the air, throwing that thing against the wind.
Salty.
Yeah, I'm salty. I'm always salty.
Look smooth, cast a mile, backlash. Pretty much sums it up.
Hey, Realistic Fishing, how's it going, man?
Beard brother, keep it strong.
I am also not fishing the Opens next year. I don't have a desire really to fish the big tournaments. Not that I don't think they're a great tournament scene. I just, with the YouTube stuff, it's more fun, just fun fishing. I don't know.
Maybe we'll start a YouTube, kind of like what Scott Martin's doing, a web series. We'll start a YouTube challenge. Not necessarily together, but over the internet. Call each other out and stuff. I don't know. Just something to give us a boost.
What is an open? What's the cost of an open now? $1,800 entry fee?
Is it 18 or 15 or something?
Yeah, it's a grand, not a couple grand.
In
Yeah,
30th place, you get your money back.
I think is what it is. Dude, that's for guys. I mean, my whole goal is not. I never want to have to fish tournaments. I don't want to be a Bassmaster Elite Series guy. That's not my goal. I want to be a YouTube fisherman. I want to be a YouTube angler, and I don't. I mean, now guys who want to be tournament fishermen, more power to you. I mean, go right ahead. I think it's freaking awesome. I mean, I fanboy over Iaconelli and KVD just like the next guy, but that's just not my thing.
It's hard too. I know a guy who's doing it, and he's just as active, or tries to be as active in social media, not YouTube. But I like to go to the tournaments here every now and then. I like a couple of local clubs just to jump on and give myself a challenge. I do like 2 a year, maybe. That's it.
Yeah, I just have a hard time with tournaments. I spend too much time fishing other bodies of water and fun fishing.
The squeal, Realistic Fishing said something about the squeal on that Cast King. Mine does the same thing. Mine, it's like a weird squealy kind of. I'm not sure what it is. It did it with that big smallmouth. It wouldn't take drag. It would like I had the drag backed all the way off. It like wouldn't let it have any drag, but it like was making this weird squealing sound. I don't know what the deal with it was, but it only did that one time.
What it does on that is the way that it's set on the magnetic braking. If you loosen up a little bit, or what I did is I took it off and I sprayed everything with W40 and then wiped it down real good. And the squealing, I used to have the same issue with my Royale Legend, and it went away.
Okay.
It would scream like I don't know, like a seal when you threw it. The whole cast, it would scream.
I'll have to try that.
Well, guys, let's answer one more question, and then we will just call it a wrap.
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
Pick one.
Chop shot.
Let's do Logical Thinking's question. I think he's had some good questions on there tonight. High school tournament, Summit Club. The first bait you pick up for mostly clear water with largemouth and smallmouth.
What time of year?
Yeah. What time of year? We'll go.
What time of year? Fall, summer, spring, now, winter?
You got a little bit of lag probably. He says rocky and weedy though. I think if you have a lot of weeds, I would do a weedless swim bait, and then rocky, I would do crankbaits or something, bouncing around on the rocks. I don't know. Moving baits to find the fish.
Yeah, spinnerbait, summer. Okay, he said summer. Mostly clear, rocky with some weeds. Oh, that's a good one.
Okay, let's do top 3 baits. What would your top 3 baits? Mine would be, I'd start out with a jig. I'd drag a jig first on it. And then I would drop shot it. And then if I'm not getting them, I might throw a crankbait. If I can get a crankbait through there.
I'm going to start with a topwater in the morning. I'm going to go by the day, times a day. I'm going to start with something walking in the morning. And then I'm probably going to, if it's May, June, that probably means the water is really hot where I'm at anyway. I'm in East Tennessee. So we're saying the water is going to be anywhere from 85 to 95 degrees. I'm going to have to move offshore and either throw a deep diving crankbait, Carolina rig, jig, something like that. And then as it starts to get dark again, which you probably won't have to worry about because you're going to be tournament fishing, I'd start throwing that topwater again.
That's a good walkthrough today.
I'm completely different area, so it's going to be different, but pretty close to Alex's. I'm going to be topwater in the morning, probably most likely a top toad, burning it, or a spook. And then I like a spook with the one big deep knock. That's the best one to me. And then I would do medium. I would do something moving and swimming, either a chatterbait or spinnerbait, or just I like soft plastic swim baits. I just like the Texas rig soft plastic swim bait. I like to unpeg the head of it, and when you pop it like a jerkbait, that lead will go away from it, and it looks like the fish is attacking. I get a lot of strikes like that. And then tournament fishing, when it comes down to a bottom fishing, Just a Texas rig Cinco all day long. Just throw it and throw it and throw it.
That daggum Cinco.
It
Catches me
works,
every time.
man. It
It
works
does.
though.
Cinco works. I mean, I don't know what it is.
That's always my backfall when I'm not catching anything in the tournament. I just start throwing it and catching them. Put some fish in the boat.
Oh man, if I gotta throw Cinco, you know how many spots out. That's not a joke.
Hey, where did he say? He said he was from. Oh, he's in Maine. Man, I don't know. I don't live in Maine.
Maine,
Man, you're the closest one.
When I think of Maine, I think of lobsters. Just throw a whole bunch of crawl imitations.
Yeah.
It's like I don't even like Maine. Like I don't even know anybody from Maine. Like you're the only person I know from Maine. I don't even know you. Like, I have never once in my life had somebody go, "Yeah, I'm from Maine."
The only person I know from Maine is Peter Griffin from Family Guy.
Well, yeah, there you go.
Matt, what's your Instagram?
What?
What's your Instagram? Is it
My Instagram, Matt Rhodes Fishing. I just changed it. It used to be Rhodes Diva because I had a whole bunch of car stuff on there. Back in my car YouTube days. My Instagram's pretty cool though. I post a lot of random stuff, so you see a lot more of my personal life on Instagram.
Yeah.
My Halloween costume was amazing. I don't know if you guys got to see it.
No. What was it?
I went as Bender from Futurama. My wife made it. It was pretty awesome. And then she went as Leela.
Oh, that's pretty funny.
It's pretty sweet. It's on my Instagram. It's pretty awesome.
All right, Ben, we're going to end this live stream with you singing.
Here's what I'll do. For you guys that tune in next week to my live stream, I'm doing these every week. I promise you, this will get people to come back. I'm doing live streams every single week. And I do it because I want to interact with my followers, my viewers, my subs. So every week I'll do this. I'm going to bring on, it'll probably be myself, and then maybe one or two other guys. I will sing for you guys next week. And I'll sing for you, and I'll give you the link to one of my unlisted YouTube videos. Check out.
Okay.
So come back next week.
That's good enough.
But guys, I am going to end the video here. I appreciate everyone that joined. Like I said, I added Matt and Alex's YouTube description down below. Their YouTube channel is down below, so go check them out. Give them a subscribe because they're awesome dudes, awesome fishermen.
Thanks, Ben. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, for sure, man. I appreciate you joining me. Thank you, Alex.
See you, buddy.
So, as always, guys, take care. Tight lines. God bless.
Woo!